Hi, I'm Kelly Hogan, and welcome back to my Zero Carb Life. I have 10 of my group members here today, and I have a general idea of what they want to share, but I just asked, would anybody like to share something? What is happening in your life right now that you would like to share? And these 10 brave souls said, I'll share. I was like, yes, awesome. So I think I'm going to start today with Kelly Gregson. What is your recent update? What's going on with you?
Well, I started in October. I decided I'm going to go in for 30 days, do it 100%. The first few days was great. And then all of a sudden, things started slowing down a little bit. And we had our first coaching meeting together.
Yeah.
And you told us about the TDEE. And so I looked at my logs and realized the first days I was doing great and I was eating, somewhere between 1,800 and 2,000 calories.
Great.
And for me, that was a lot. And then I wasn't hungry anymore. So all of a sudden, I dropped down to about 1,200 calories. And
Right.
of course, all of a sudden, the scale wasn't moving. And so I thought, okay, this is what I've always done is under eat
Yes.
the last, I don't know, 5 years. And it has not gotten me where I want. So I started eating more. And what is so exciting is 29 days,
Yes.
and I've lost 18 pounds.
Oh, Kelly, that is
And,
so cool.
and I can say over years of dieting, this has not happened before. And then I saw my endocrinologist.
Uh-huh.
I am a type 1 diabetic
Okay.
on a pump. I cut my insulin by half every day,
Oh, that's
which of course helps you lose weight.
right. Kelly, I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you. And it would be one thing if you came and said, look, I did the TDEE and it turns out I really need to eat a lot less and it worked and I'm feeling good.
Right.
Right. Sometimes that's the case. But
Yeah.
when somebody says, I was eating way too little, so I had to eat more. Now I feel better. I'm losing and I've slashed my insulin in half. House party. And yes, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm so thrilled. Hey, Kelly, what an amazing first month. So this is it for you. 2 more days of carnivore, huh?
No, I'm staying.
Oh, good. I was hoping. Okay, great.
Because people are like, okay, are you going to do something else? Are you going to move on? And I go like, why would I?
Right.
This is, the best I've felt. I'm losing weight. I have quite a bit to lose, and I have a couple big vacations coming up, and so I've been planning how to make that work when I'm there. And yeah, I'm staying with it. So.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kelly. That was awesome. I love it. Hey, next up, I have Mia. What's your new update, Mia? How's it going? What have you tried before? Let me put it that way.
So I started Carnivore in January of this year. I've done it before for just about like a month. I couldn't really stick to it a couple years ago, but I decided I was just having all of these problems and I knew Carnivore would help. And so I was like, okay, I just gotta do it. I just gotta stick with it. So in September, I was starting to get some weird symptoms. Like I had this rash that was happening on my stomach. I was getting some hair loss, and then my period didn't come.
Oh,
And that really kind of scared me. It really did make me realize, okay, I got to change something about what I'm doing. And I kind of realized that all these symptoms, it was stress. I was just really stressed out. And I had been fasting. I had been OMADing since I started Carnivore
okay.
back in January. Like, I think the first month, I just kind of ate whatever I felt like. And then because I wanted to lose weight, I decided to fast. And I was looking at some carnivore women's YouTube page, and they were all saying, like, we aren't really made to fast. Like, women can definitely fast, but for prolonged periods, sometimes it's not very good. And so I decided to stop OMADing and start doing 2 meals a day and eating breakfast being one of those meals. I
Nice.
got my period back in October. My rash is gone. Hair
Awesome.
loss is so much better, and I feel better.
Oh, Mia, I'm glad you're speaking up on this. It's not that I'm against fasting, but I'm with you, especially for women. Even in the book Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pelz, she talks about how fasting tends to be much harder on the hormones and systems of women than it is on men. She was such an advocate of OMAD. And in men, she says it works really well. But so often women just don't get the calories that they need in one sitting. So they have to split it up into at least 2 and sometimes 3.
The one meal I was eating a day, I was getting super nauseous after every meal. And at first I was like, maybe it's the butter. Like I'm having a lot of butter to keep my 80-20 in one meal. So maybe that's it. And so I tried some tallow. I tried many different things. And then I watched a YouTube video and she said by getting rid of her salt, she actually helped her nausea.
Okay.
And so I decided to stop doing electrolytes because I had been doing electrolytes every day. I have completely stopped electrolytes. I only salt my food to taste. And it was immediate. The first day, I had no nausea at all with my meal. Completely.
Oh, that's really interesting. So I do not do better with taking extra electrolytes either. And I know some folks do. But if somebody is adding electrolytes, I've known people who said, Kelly, I was taking 2 packets and that wasn't making me feel better. So I went to 3 and now I'm up to 4. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of electrolytes. Like, have you ever tried life without them? And sometimes it's exactly like you described. The leg cramps go away. The nausea goes away. Like, things get better without it. So I think it's worth trying them if somebody's having an issue without any electrolytes, but I also think it's worth back it off if you're having a problem. You just look happy. You look good, and I'm so thrilled that your body is giving signs also that we're okay now. We're alive and well and thriving. So thank you, Mia. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next I want to talk to Heather. I actually had the opportunity to hug Heather's neck in person recently in Charlotte, North Carolina. Heather is not from Charlotte. I drove a few hours. She drove more than a few hours. That was an amazing gathering of people, so many folks. But I had the chance to hear some of Heather's story. Heather, fill people in.
Yeah, so I drove to North Carolina just to hug you and say thank you. Because on this journey of health and well-being, I stumbled into Carnivore and found you. And when I found Carnivore, I was at my darkest hour. I have, like probably so many women on this call, have spent decades trying to manage my weight. And it led to a whole lot of restriction and everything I couldn't eat. Yeah. And a whole lot of overtraining. And so I just happened to walk into a doctor's office in tears and say, I don't know how to heal. I don't know how to manage my weight. I have adrenal fatigue. I have metabolic disorder now. I have so many injuries. I'm going through menopause. I'm so tired of restricting. What do I do? And he said, have you ever considered Carnivore?
No way.
Did you not hear me? I said, I don't want to restrict. And he said, I thought you said you were willing to do anything. And so on the next day, June 27th, 2023, I went strict carnivore and said, this time I'm going to do it right. And I'm just going to trust that for some reason, this doctor said, try carnivore. And for the first time in my life, it wasn't about everything I couldn't eat. It was about everything I got to eat.
Yeah.
And so I fueled her with red meat and fat. I fueled her with a whole chicken. I just oh my gosh, I ate. And I had the permission to, for the first time, to heal.
Right.
And then I started gaining weight. And I was like, trust the process. And I found you. And I said, Kelly, just tell me to trust the process because there's nowhere else to go. I've tried everything the healthy way. And you said, what alternative? And so I stayed the course. I gained 40 pounds. And there was a point where people may see my before picture. I am so proud of that woman who was willing to do whatever she needed to do to heal everything, everything. And then I was just like, she trusts me again. And that's when the weight started coming off. And so I fueled. It looked different every week when my body was asking for. And then when the pain was gone and I didn't have any symptoms from menopause and I could just feel this balance and restoration, the weight started falling off. And I have never, ever been like this in my life with almost no effort. It's just a joy to eat. It is a joy to walk. And it is a joy to only train for 15 minutes a day and not 5 hours. So like the results are like, to me, jaw dropping. And here I am, the thinnest I've ever been, but who cares? Because for the first time, I'm healthy.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
healthy.
Oh,
I'm balanced. There's no end to this journey. There's no there. There's just, I get to eat meat.
yes.
So
Heather, our stories are so similar. So now when I recommend that people do a reverse diet, I'm like, you can do it so slow that you will not gain weight. But Heather, you and I, there was no slow reverse diet. We were so hungry. That was me. I would have slowly increased, except I was ravenous. And once I started eating, it's like I couldn't quit. I gained 23 pounds in my reverse diet very quickly. And I was like, panic, panic. I did not come here to gain weight. But yet I felt just like you. Life was coming back into my body. And the food tasted so good, I couldn't stop. I just kept eating. And just like you said, at some point, it's almost like there was a sigh of relief. And then the scale stopped going up and I started losing. And there was nothing. People say, what changed? I was fed. I don't know what else to say about it. I didn't suddenly cut back on purpose. I was just fed. So everybody's story doesn't go like that. But when you tell yours, I'm like, that's me. That's me. We are so similar. So when you asked me to just tell you, you literally said to me, Kelly, just tell me to trust the process. And we were on a Zoom call and I was like, well, yes, trust the process. I remember the moment and I'm like, but I also remember the moment when I was where you were and a woman named Cynthia said to me, what else would you go back to at this point? And I said, well, nothing's ever made me feel this good. And you said the same thing. I was like, then I would trust the process. Keep going. And here you are. And I'm going to put all kinds of pictures up on the screen, but can I also, come on, just show it. Could you do it?
So, but without flexing, right? Oh, I'm 50, for God's sakes.
Right. Amazing.
50.
Amazing.
Like crazy. So it's, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
and the
you.
community is important for this.
Yes, I agree completely. Thanks, Heather. That was fabulous. Man, that's exciting stuff. Okay, next I have Claire. Oh, Claire, I have read about what caloric amount you're currently on. You gave me 2 things that you've been working on. So fill everybody in.
There is a little bit of a backstory, but I'll keep it short. I came initially to keto for health issues. I have about 3 or 4 different autoimmune diseases, and the only thing that kept them under control was different steroids and methotrexate, which is a chemotherapy drug. Yeah. And the cocktail was vile, and I just ballooned. And as a result of the ballooning, I turned to comfort eating, and it's just a really vicious cycle. And my biggest, I was over 24 stone. I was just ill and in pain and miserable. And very similar to Heather, actually, I got a new specialist for all of these diseases who asked me if I was willing to try anything. And he put me on keto. I did keto for about 2 years. I lost about 100 pounds. And then COVID hit. Oh. And everything went out the window. Literally, my mental health took a real tumble. My eating went out the window. I put all the weight back on and more. My symptoms came back. I was in a really bad place. And about 18 months ago, enough is enough. Went back to keto.
didn't work in the same way.
Oh.
It took about 4 months and my symptoms were starting to diminish, but the weight wasn't coming off and I was miserable. And I started Carnivore in March of this year. And I found you, Kelly, and started coaching in August. I am now 130 pounds down again.
Oh, my word. Claire, wow.
So I think I've lost a whole person, which is bonkers.
Amazing.
Bonkers. But where I am now is night and day, and the mental health side of it. This past month has been really difficult. I've been really stressful with work. And to be honest with you, I was really annoyed because I was looking at the numbers and I was like, I've not lost anything this month. What's going on? And I'm a bit of a geek. Like you, Kelly, I track everything. I love the numbers. So I had all of this information to look back on. And I figured out that my average caloric intake over October has been 2,500 calories a day. Some days I have eaten over 3,000 calories.
Yes.
I've been hungry, and I have been eating to my hunger. I have been giving my body what it wants, and it's been wanting more fat. And I think that's in response to the stress.
Yes.
So when I figured out how much I'd been eating, I was like, I'm not surprised you haven't lost weight, but hey, you haven't gained any either. Yes. So I am taking that as a win to be able to, put away nearly 3,000 calories on some days more, and not gain weight. And I'm only 5'5". I'm actually quite little, especially compared to Kelly. It's an absolute huge win. But what I also wanted to mention is sleep.
Yes.
Because one of the main reasons for me starting coaching was I wasn't getting the sleep that everybody says Carnivore gives you. And so I tried the blue light blockers, first of all.
Yes.
And Kelly always says, make sure you get up in the morning, you're getting the sunlight, you're getting that glass of water. Don't have coffee straight away. That was a hard one, but I did it. I did everything, and still no massive improvement. So the last thing to try was the mouth taping. My husband was really skeptical because he was terrified that I was going to wake up next to a dead body. It's like, what if you don't breathe?
Yes. Yes.
But oh my word, it's been life-changing.
Me too.
As well as the sleep, I don't get cramps. And I suffered with such bad night cramps. Electrolytes, I've tried with, I've tried without, never seemed to make a difference. But mouth taping, who would have thought it? No cramps.
Claire, me too. Oh my gosh, this makes me so happy. I used to have awful leg cramps. Okay, so I don't know what kind of mouth tape Claire uses. I have currently been using a brand. It's a stretchy tape called PAP MD. The reason I started getting this one versus just using like a blue, I'll put the kind I used for ages on the screen. But I started using more tallow lotion at night, and the cheap tape just wasn't sticking to my face. So this, I can lather and slather, and it will stay on all night. I know there are people going, are these ladies saying they literally tape their mouth shut at night? That's what we're saying, folks. Do any of you others mouth tape? Just curious. Allie, Heather, Bria, Valtra. Okay, see what I'm saying? Not everybody needs to, though. My husband does not mouth tape, and he is not a mouth breather. He is a very quiet little nasal breather. And me, mouth open, drooling, dry mouth combo. Terrible if I don't tape. So I think those are two great takeaways. Claire, when people are really stressed out, I think it is very important to nourish, and it's possible that you're eating more than you really need as far as to lose weight. But there are also times when you just need that food, and at least you aren't gaining. And then tip number 2 from Claire Lee, if you haven't mouth taped and you're having leg cramps, maybe give that a shot. Awesome. Thanks, Claire. That's great.
You.
All right, next up, I have Bria. Hey, Bria, what's new with you this month?
Hi. Mainly, I wanted to come just to share that I'm not brand new with Carnivore. I initially went Carnivore 5 years ago, And this last 5 years has just been one giant learning experience. I have tweaked, I've adjusted, I've introduced food, I've eliminated food. Not necessarily all carnivore, like that's part of the learning experiences. Can I reintroduce certain things? Can I do okay with them? No, I can't. Okay. And just using those as learning experiences, not as stumbles or falling off the wagon or beating myself up. It's just all knowledge. It's all education. It's empowerment. Like it is realizing what I can and can't tolerate, what I can and can't handle, making up a new plan and moving forward. Ultimately, I've settled that sweet tastes trigger me, and eliminating them completely has been complete food freedom. Ditch demon, lizard brain, whatever we want to call the little guy on our shoulder telling us to go eat the junk food. He's completely gone.
This guy?
Him. Him. He's completely gone when I eliminate all sweet tastes. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. Like I can just go about my day and not worry about the things calling me. And that's just part of my learning experience over the last 5 years was getting back to this. I'm currently on day 33 of no sweet taste. And just realizing how much better it is for me. I also just really want to emphasize for everyone to just view their journey in a similar fashion, that like those stumbles, those trips, whatever we want to call them, are nothing more than just a learning experience. We can take that information, we can use it to tweak what we need to tweak in our journey, and we can make up a new plan and we can keep going. And we don't need to be obsessing about them or beating ourselves up over them. And yeah, you're allowed to start over and you're allowed to reset, and it's all beautiful.
Oh, it's such a good message. Bria, this just brought something to mind. When my little ones were learning to ride a bike, obviously they're going to fall. They don't know at times. When they learn to turn, they don't understand that you can't just, turn the wheel. They have so many things to figure out. What if every time they messed up, we said, well, you're back to day one? That's what people do, when they mess up on carnivore. They're like, well, I'm back to day one. And you're like, but in the last 30 days, think how many things you figured out and fixed and learned from. And now you know that when you added back that sweet, even gum, or even for some people, flavored electrolytes or sweetened anything, that it brought something back. You're not back to day one. You've got 30 days of learning under your belt. So, I understand the idea. It's kind of like at the job, how they say how many days since we've had an accident. Okay, if it makes you feel better to put the 0 days on the board, go ahead. But those days are not lost. And I think your message says that perfectly. Bria, I love you. I'm so glad you agreed to do this. Thank you.
Love you too.
Okay, some of you may recognize my next group member, Rachel. Many of you remember her as, it was Pie, right? The Pie Lady?
Oh, yeah.
The Pie Lady. Or the anti-pie lady. The woman who has been set free from needing more pie. That's really what we want to remember you as. But something new something new is going on this month. What's new?
Okay, well, for me, it has been eliminating dairy. Now, if we backtrack just a tad, now I came on to carnivore because I was in that desperate perimenopause roller coaster to hell. And I had this severe estrogen dominance. I had so much pain. I was only putting on weight. I could not lose weight. I was only putting it on. And I had all kinds of issues, thyroid issues, depression, anxiety, and so much more. There was such a laundry list. So this desperate middle-aged woman was like, okay, I'm just going to try this crazy diet, this crazy carnivore thing, and see what happens, because what have I got to lose, right? So I did it, and I had been eating the dairy, and the weight was starting to come off a bit, and I was starting to feel better, which was great. The brain fog was lifting and all. But one of the things that you talk about in your group is watching out for non-sober behavior around certain foods. And with heavy whipping cream, I could resist cheese and sour cream and yogurt and stuff like that. Even butter, I'd put butter on. But heavy whipping cream, it was how when you take your dog for a walk, like down to the river or something, and they don't just go in the water. They run and jump and leap and play, and then they like bite the water. They're like, ah, 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 ah. That's how I was with heavy whipping cream. I couldn't just put like 2 tablespoons in my coffee. I would like put like a third of a cup and I whoosh it all up, and I was, put some coffee in it, whoosh it up some more, and then middle of the afternoon or the evening, I'm whooshing up some more, and it was a lot. When you said that, to watch for the non-sober behavior, I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm strung out in the alley, clutching my half-gallon bottle of Costco heavy whipping cream. And I'm like, yeah, I need to really look at this. I thought about removing the dairy and see what would happen. And so I did. And I was like, I'm not going to do the advanced where I have no butter. So I kept with the Kerrygold butter. Yeah. And I was like, please, nothing happened. Please, nothing happened, because I didn't want there to be any difference. Yeah. But there was. I had been losing about like maybe 0.9 pounds, 0.7 pounds a week, which is good, Yeah. It's progress and it's healthy. But when I eliminated the dairy, I started losing closer to 2 pounds a week. And I was like, what? And the impatient woman in me was like, oh, I guess I need to do this. But not only that, my seasonal allergies, which absolutely kick my butt sometimes during the year, they got much, much, much better. Like much, much, much better. I used to be like draining and sneezing and just piles of Kleenex around me, during those times when I would have bad seasonal allergies. It was much, much, much better. So yeah, this was a big deal. I didn't know about the dairy. I didn't know what a big difference the dairy would make, and it has.
I'm so happy. Rachel, I think it was just yesterday. I read a study, not even on carnivores. They need way more carnivore studies, by the way. But this was just a study on humans, and they had them cut out all dairy. I am not sure if they left in butter, but I know for sure no cheese, no cream. And it was just to find out at the end of, I want to say it was 6 weeks, if people reported any benefits. 70% of the participants noticed a marked difference in mucus production. That was the number one thing that people noticed. So if there are any folks out there, and I will say this, I used to get a lot of mucus gunk. How I used to describe dairy as making me bumpy, stuffy, and fluffy. That's what dairy always did to me. But these days, I'm actually able to tolerate dairy much better than I used to. So I'll say that just because in this season, maybe if this helps you mentally to say, all right, in this season, it does not work for me, but someday down the road, it might. I have personally found that to be true, but I'm glad you told the story because a lot of folks with weight will have better results if they cut out the dairy and the mucus. So, hey. Yes. Also, don't y'all hate the word mucus?
Oh, hate it.
It's awful.
It's as bad as moist.
Ew. Ew. Moist mucus.
It is, isn't it?
Okay, too much. All right. Thank you, Rachel. I'm so glad you came back. I hope you'll come
Thanks
anytime.
For having me.
All right. Bye. Well, that was gross. Okay. I'm probably not cutting it either. I like it. We're going to go to Sunnie. Sunnie, you said that you've got some things to share with us. So what's your news?
I do. I'm going to give you a little bit of my background first. In September of 2023, I was at my lowest point. I have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, and I was in constant flares. I was eating nothing but sugar for months. I mean, my disordered eating goes back to my earliest memory at the age of 4 with our Easter baskets. I'm the youngest, and I ate all of it, including the stuff I didn't like, and my siblings did not. And I actually remember this memory of thinking, why didn't they eat it? Why didn't they want it? And so I have had problems with binging. Yeah. Specifically on sweets and things like that. I have problems my whole life with also restricting. In high school, I actually found exercise and restriction, right? Yes. And like Heather's probably going to, right? And so I actually did that, and I restricted my eating and got underweight briefly, very briefly, until a friend said something about it. You don't look healthy. And I boomeranged right back into obesity. Yep. And so I've been obese or morbidly obese most of my entire life. I was thinking I'm successful in other things. Every other part of my life I'm successful in. Why can I not get this one thing? And I really honestly thought was the only person that had any kind of issues like this my whole life. So I'm 62. So in September, I was done. I was at rock bottom, and I actually realized too, I was going to have to need some help with the daily assistance. I was using a cane and a walker.
Oh.
And yeah. And so I started looking at assisted living and thinking I'm going to have some help. And I realized I honestly felt in my heart and soul, I was on the way out if something didn't change. And then, so I don't try not to get emotional, but this is very emotional for me because it's been such a turnaround since September of 2023. And then, you know how you have an ad come across, get off of sugar in 7 days, right?
Yeah.
I had this thing, it was free. I'm like, let me try it. And so it's not that that was the thing, but it was the catapult. The night before I started my journey, my daughter called me and said, Mom, do you want to come over for dinner? I made tacos. And I said, nope, I've already eaten. And I didn't tell her what I'd eaten. And it was an entire tray of cinnamon rolls and 3 Hershey bars. That was my, food. So, or food.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did that for 7 days. I did the challenge and I made it through. And then I just said, I can do another day and another day and another day. And then I found out, I'm thinking still, I'm the same lone person. I said, some people say they're sugar addicted. Are they really? And so I started posting on my personal Facebook, and a friend of mine said, hey, maybe you need to check into this group or whatever. And so by that time I had evolved into very clean keto, no extra stuff, how the sweet stuff like Bria was, I can't have the sweet anything. So I'm going along clean keto, and I'm getting results and I'm feeling better. I'm able to use the walker and the cane less, but I'm still having to have help at the airport when I visit my kids and stuff in a wheelchair.
Okay.
And so I saw Carnivore. I don't know how I saw it. I'm sure I saw your beautiful face, Kelly. And I found you. I think it was Dr. Barry first. And then I saw you on an interview with him. And I'm like, I'm mostly animal based at that point.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I didn't really. So I went on the Lions diet for 90 days as an elimination protocol with RA. I thought if I can handle the beef and the salt, we'll add back and see what happens. And after that 90 days, as I started adding things back, even some vegetables, because I was trying like others have tried, I would have reactions, my joints, my this, my that. And so anyway, I went on for that. I was carnivore. And so then I have lost a lot of weight. I lost at this point when I started in your group, I've lost 114 pounds. And I'm thinking, I think this beautiful woman can help me fine tune some stuff and figure things out. And as we were in, I found out my TDEE with you. I also realized, and because I do track having a disordered eating, it helps me feel like I'm in control. I'm getting enough at my age, but I'm not overdoing.
Yes.
So I went back and looked at my calories, and we're talking about 950 calories, like over and over and over again. Now I'd lost before, but at this point I have this other, I need to lose. I really do need to lose it. And so I went to the TDEE and I started inching up, just like you said. And I'm like, I'm going to gain. I didn't. In fact, I lost 3 more pounds, bringing my amount up to what I should, to my maintenance. And I'm still in maintenance. And I'll stay another week and then I'll do my 20% drop or whatever. But I've learned so much. It's just been so amazing. And, I think this is a journey. I think, Kelly, this is definitely your purpose. And for me, the journey is, I'm not going to stop learning. I'm going to still tweak. I'm going to still do. Oh, and let me tell you, when I gave away the walker and the cane, I gave it to someone in need.
Oh,
huge. I actually carried the walker up from the basement myself.
oh,
Right. I said, I don't want any help with this. Went up the stairs with it. And I gave those away. That was huge. And it was also scary. And then I'm like, I can be free of this. I started working out with a trainer twice a week in August for strength.
Yeah.
So yesterday I had a doctor's appointment. I hadn't been to a primary doctor 3 years. And I did post this on 3 years, except for a doctor that diagnosed costochondritis, right, Kelly? Yeah, I thought I was having a heart attack, right? And that was in February 2023. It was horrible. Except for that, I hadn't seen a doctor in 3 years in person. So I met my new doctor and they went and looked over everything. This weight loss from my previous doctor is huge. But she also checked other things like my muscles, and she's like, Flex, do this, because I've been working out. She goes, you've got muscle. And so I heard the words, you're in good shape. And I'm like, I've never heard that all my life. I went to the doctor. They've all said, back away from the table, eat less, blah, 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 my entire life.
Yeah.
So this was huge. And I just love being in this group, and I'm going to be joining y'all in the next few weeks.
Oh, Sunnie, my gosh, what a story. I am just so happy for you. I bet every person watching this is probably ready to just shout. I'm so thrilled for you, Sunnie.
Thank you. I have a life now. I'm 62 and I'm just now finding a life. I'm finally understanding this. And thank you so much.
Oh, baby, thank you. That was fun. Gosh, I love it. All right, I'm going to talk to Annie next. Now, I know a little bit about what's going on with Annie recently, but it started with an email a couple of days ago where she said, hey, Kelly, I'm sort of frustrated. And I said, okay, tell me what's going on. And then she told me part of her story. I was like, I hear the frustration in this last little bit, but we went from, hey, Kelly, I'm frustrated to, hey, Annie, you should come on my YouTube channel because that's incredible. So tell us a little more.
I'm a severe diabetic, and I have been since I was a little kid, and I have some neuromuscular problems and whatnot. Also a special needs mama that is a third shifter with my little one because he doesn't sleep.
Wow.
So it's put some craziness into my life, which is cool. But I've always struggled with my weight being just way above where it should be, and tons and tons of health problems, which has left me in some poor condition through the years. My husband and I had a talk last year, and he said, let's do something. And he had heard about Carnivore from a friend and said, why don't you give it a shot? And I was like, no. All the doctors said, don't do that. It's, going to be harm for you because being a severe pump dependent diabetic, I was taking upwards of almost 900 units of insulin a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, literally drinking bottles of insulin. So I finally agreed to try it and said, let's give it a whirl. So September 28th of last year, I started cold turkey and just went for it. And it's been a year and a month now, and I'm down 125 pounds. And I'm 15 pounds from my goal. The insulin part has been really cool. I had my endocrine appointment yesterday, so I went from almost taking 900 units down to between 3 and 8 units a day.
3 and 800 or just?
No, 3 and 8.
Yes, so, single digits, baby. Whoa.
Yeah, it's been a magical experience. I'm 15 pounds from my goal of where I want to be. And this has now been a lifestyle and a lifelong thing. And all my labs were great. And I'm finally at a point where I'm excited about it, being able to just do a few more things that I couldn't do before. And the amount of decreased insulin has made my body feel so much better.
Annie, I cannot even tell you how excited I was when your first email was like, I'm not losing and I'm frustrated. I was like, gosh, I felt like I failed her. And I saw, she is a group member. I was like, oh, drats, I wonder what's wrong. I said, you haven't lost anything yet? And then she wrote back and it was like, oh, wait, she's down 125 pounds. She's down to her last 15. She's gone from hundreds of units of insulin to almost none. I was like, okay.
But it's just my frustration of that last 15 pounds. And I'm like, okay.
None of us here would be like, oh, well, shame on you for not being satisfied where you are. Not at all. We completely get that. But also, I just want to celebrate how far you've come. And then, acknowledge that there are some things we could do also about the last 15. But my gracious, I'm just proud of you. Today, I just really want to celebrate you. So thank you, Annie. That was awesome. Right. I have two folks to talk to still. And one of them is Allie Johnson. Allie, we kind of go way back at this point, right? Like, we're not just getting to know each other right now. Tell folks a little about yourself.
Last year, in January of 2023, I found myself in the place that I always find myself at the beginning of the year, and that was trying to lose weight. And I ate something that caused this massive flare of inflammation, and it scared me to death. So I have an extensive background with crippling chronic illness and autoimmune issues. And I thought, I can't go through this again. Sorry. So I started internet searching and I found Michaela Peterson, and her story was very similar to mine. I developed autoimmune issues at the age of 23, pretty severe, that led into 16 years of medication, 3 surgeries, one that completely took out my hearing. I had uveitis, which is a pretty severe inflammation of the eye. They had no idea what caused it, even though I went back and checked and I was pre-diabetic. And so when I ate something that caused some flare, my eyes started bothering me. My ears started ringing. I have a lot of ear stuff, you know. I was flushed everywhere. And I thought, I can't go through something like this again. I'm going to do an elimination diet. And I thought, I'm going to do lion diet for 2 weeks. I was 50 pounds overweight, you know, chronic overeating, disordered eating, that kind of thing. And I tried it for 2 weeks. I thought, I'll just do it. I'll just focus in, and I'll eat ruminant meat, salt and water. And it calmed down slowly but surely. And so I thought, do this again. I marked it on the calendar and I thought, okay, I can get to February 16th. But what about, the holiday in there? Yeah. Fine. I can just zero in. So then after 30 days, I was like, by then I had found everyone on YouTube and I had found you. And I thought, I can do this for 90 days. And then I added in, I think I started doing a little bit more like with bacon. So I thought, keep it simple, beef, butter, bacon, eggs,
Yes.
salt, and coffee. I have never eliminated coffee, much to my heart's content. I do fine with coffee.
Yes.
So 90 days. And I was like looking back and I'm thought, this is great. This is healing everything. I wasn't having intrusive thoughts at night, the most ridiculous, absurd things. What if this tree falls on our house? You can relate, Kelly. I've heard
Yes. Yes.
just outlandish things. And I was falling asleep for the first time in 15 years.
Oh.
So I was like, this is great. I'm going to keep doing this. And I made a video and I said, this is incredible. This isn't just weight loss. This is like my life now. And I'm one of those people that I found something new as my entire identity. So I just kept doing it. And I thought, okay, well, what can I do today? And then I started getting into like a lot of noise. Try this and try this and try this. And I thought, I need some help. I need some support. No one in my life, everybody's like, what are you talking about? This is so weird. Yeah. And so I thought, I'm going to join Kelly's group. And it was the best thing I ever did because it gave me a community of people that understand exactly what I'm talking about. And that I can't stop talking about this because it's changed my life. And I lost weight slowly but surely. It was really something that I could tell all of these changes, these massive changes, but it wasn't so apparent on the outside. So everybody thought that I was just this weirdo. So once I joined the group, I learned and I got the tools like, oh, okay, I can try this. I was under eating and I started losing, lots of hair shedding, which I have thyroid issues anyway. And I have menopause, I'm in perimenopause. So I have all these factors and it taught me slowly but surely every single day that I was in control. I could make a choice. Does this work? Yes. Do I do metabolic flex days? And I have maintained, so I've lost 45 pounds in the last over a year and a half, 20 months.
Awesome.
And I have maintained the weight loss.
Yes.
For a year, going on vacation, doing all the things. I have settled where I am and I'm thrilled. My mental health is better. All of my chronic illness has healed. It's been the most remarkable experience. And thank you.
Oh, Allie, I love you so much and I'm so excited. And I know you're having some internet struggles, but you know what? This might be a blessing because for those of you who want to hear more, and you should, because Allie's story, I don't know how much I'm going to get to put in there, or I'm going to do my best, but Allie has a YouTube channel. You can go and hear her story, her rawness, her realness. She is also present very often on Instagram. So if if you didn't hear enough of her today, I sincerely hope y'all will go to the video description box where I will link to all of these people. But truly, check Allie out, YouTube and Instagram, because she has a heart of gold, and I hope that comes across despite some funky internet right now. But baby, I love you, and thank you for coming on to share. Okay, my very last person is Valtra. Listen, y'all are about to know this for yourselves, everybody, but Valtra is not here interested in an Excel spreadsheet right now. She is not caring about the TDEE. I did not bring her on here to talk math or calculations, and I'm here to tell you, some people really need that. You'll see. Hey, Valtra, what brings you here today?
I know, right? What brings me here? So first of all, I want to say thank you to Kelly, but you all, your stories are so inspirational. Like, oh my God, I am like, I could cry, and I'm not even a crier. Y'all, I'm a tough cookie. I have been this way my whole life. Let me tell you all, this last year, I have been through it. My mom passed in July. My kids, my youngest kids, I got remarried. Their dad died last August. My aunt died 3 days before my mom. And one of my good friends here at the hospital killed herself.
Oh, Valtra.
And so let me tell you, I'll be 54 next month. I have never experienced so much loss in my life. And so I had joined Kelly's group because I'm gonna tell y'all what, I like to eat. My grandmother used to cook. My mom was this big, like her whole life. She was like, why are you eating all those carbs? Because they taste so good. My grandmother would make these rolls. And then I started dating the chef, you all. Anyway, let's get to the point. So Kelly, I have been watching her. I actually found an email, Kelly, between us from 2016 that I wrote you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I have been watching her for years, and I would do good for like a day, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm just going to get this biscuit, and then I'm going to go right back to Carnivore, and I would not go back, right?
Right.
So my mom, health was important to her. I'm a lactation consultant here in Atlanta, and it's been important to me. So when she died, I was like, V, you got to take care of yourself. Like your blood pressure's going up. And I went to New York with my girls, and y'all, we ate everything. Let me tell you, it didn't make no sense. And I put my scrubs on, my scrubs that normally hold me down, and they were tight.
Oh.
And I was like, what is happening? I had hit 250 pounds. So this is September the 12th, 13th. I had already joined Kelly's, made my mind up to join her group for October. I said, you know what? I can't wait till October. I was like, I got to do something now. And so I started like just watching her videos constantly and was like, you're just going to be carnivore. I had events. I had places to go. I did not care. What do you eat? I just eat meat. I was with some ladies, and they were like, oh, you don't have anything else on your food? This is all I do. I just eat meat. And they're like, okay, cool. So then people started saying, gosh, your skin looks good. You're losing weight. And so I had decided to scale. I done tracked. I done all the stuff. Y'all got 5 kids in healthcare. I know how to do it all. I got all the apps in the world. And I was like, I'm sick of it. So when Kelly said what got me, I don't know what video I was watching. And she was like, my first 5 years, I was addicted to sugar-free Jell-O. And I was like, what? What's this? So I swear, y'all, the first month, whenever I thought I was going to fall off, I would just go to the store and get that sugar-free Jell-O. And it, for whatever reason, it settled me. Like, I have been the laziest carnivore, is what I told Kelly last night, just lazy. But the simplicity of it has blessed me, right? So I just eat eggs and bacon in the morning. If I feel like I need more food, the other day I just ate 20 wings. I probably didn't need the 20 wings, but I didn't care because I could eat the 20 wings. And so through the stress, the funerals, I have just been comforted. But this has been so helpful. My teeth stopped bleeding. My skin is clear. I have actually pushed back from the dairy because dairy used to be big for me too. I really wasn't sick from it, but I felt bad, like my bones felt bad. So pushing back from the dairy, I feel better. So you all, I told Kelly yesterday, I got on the scale and I've gone from 250 on that September 13th to I am at 225.
Nice. 25. That is a fast 25, girl.
Since September 13th, I came back with those girls from New York, my two young, I got 3 boys and 2 girls. And I was like, V, you have taken it to a whole nother level. I've had 2 9-pound boys and didn't weigh as much.
Wow.
And so when I got on that scale, and so it's been freeing for me to be able to eat. Kelly said something in another video, and I'm not a crier, but you guys got me crying. I'm telling you, got me in my emotions. She said, your body needs to feel safe. And I used to fast, like if I had an event to do, I was that person. I was Oprah or Janet Jackson. You would see me a 14, and next week I might be an 8. Because I would water fast, I would dry fast, whatever, to be in that dress or that. And when she said, I need to be safe, I was like, tears came to my eyes, and I was like, B, you're not safe around food. You haven't been safe. And so I just eat meat like it's just so, I don't know, like comforting to my heart. And I'm so thankful to God. And so for me, I am so excited about the journey, like watching you all. Y'all have just inspired me today. I'm so excited to be able to say, oh, I've lost this much. But even listening to you all say there were periods when nothing happened, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with if I get on the scale and it still says the same thing, because I am free. Like, I don't know if that makes sense or resonates with you all, but when you have dieted and done this for years, it's so exhausting. Like, it is one of the most exhausting things. Oh, I can't have this. Well, I just ate that. Well, my calories said I can't have anymore. And even when I had times of stress, I would just be like, V, just go get a hamburger. For no reason, Saturday, my friends were around me. We were doing stuff with the girls. I just decided to eat hamburger patties. I wasn't hungry, but I just ate them anyway. But it to know that it won't impact me the way if I had went and got pizza or Krispy Kreme donuts.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you, and thank you all. So Kelly, I look forward to this journey with you, like for the rest of my life, my friend.
I love you. So I think it is so important for people to hear that, yes, you can do, there's so many ways to tweak and trick and get real specific. And Claire, you and I, we love the data, right? But also there are surely people watching who are like, well, I don't. Right? And Valtra is here to say, you know what? Don't count anything unless you just want to count chicken wings for fun. Just eat meat. She called herself last night the laziest carnivore you'll ever meet.
I am just
I
lazy.
love that.
Yeah.
So I tell people I love the simple version as long as it's working for you. And if it doesn't, then we know how to get data and figure it out. And there are no wrong answers here as long as it's working for you. What an amazing group of women are here today. I'm just so thankful. Thank you to all of you for coming to share. I hope something here was useful to those of you who are watching. If it was, if one of these ladies spoke to you, please just comment and say, oh my gosh, me too, Sunnie. Or Valtra, yes, same. I want to be the world's laziest carnivore that's also losing weight. I love it. So thank you, all of you. And we hope to see you back here soon. Everybody take care. Bye.
Thank you, Kelly.